The cargo ship Tigris moved slowly through the dark space near Jupiter. It had just finished a long mission, carrying metal and fuel from Mars back to Earth. The crew was tired, ready to rest. Then, something strange appeared on their radar, Captain. "I'm picking up a distress signal," said Enzo, the ship's tech officer. The signal was weak, repeating a strange tone. It was coming from a small escape pod floating near Jupiter's rings. "Life signs?" Captain Rain asked. "Very faint, but yes," Enzo replied. "One person, maybe female, maybe not human." They had no choice but to bring the pod in. It was drifting, cold, and almost out of power. The crew pulled it into the docking bay and opened the hatch. Inside, they saw her. She looked human almost. She had pale silver skin, glowing lines on her arms. In long white hair, she wore a suit that didn't match any Earth design. Her eyes were closed, and her chest moved slowly. She was alive. But weak, they took her to the medbay and ran tests. No ID, no implant, no oxygen tank. Yet she was breathing fine. Her name, she whispered after waking up, was Ava. She didn't remember how she got there, or at least, she said she didn't. She spoke in short, simple English, almost like she was learning as she spoke. "I was running," she said. "From who?" Ava didn't answer. Days passed, and Ava stayed in the quarantine room. The doctor said her body was not like anything he had seen. Her cells were alive in a strange way, moving faster than human cells. She could survive heat, cold, and even small amounts of radiation. The crew was curious, but cautious. Only a few people were allowed near her. One of them was Josh, a young engineer. He often went to the ship's gym after work, and his path passed near her room one day. Ava stood by the window of her room. Josh walked by, sweating from a long run on the treadmill. As he passed, Ava suddenly froze. Her eyes widened, her nose flared, her body trembled. She leaned close to the glass window and whispered. Human at first, Josh thought she was just surprised. But then something strange happened. The lights in her room flickered. The temperature inside began to rise only in her room. The sensors went crazy, her heart rate jumped. Her skin began to glow faintly, especially around her chest and lower body. It was like her body was changing, reacting to something. Josh stepped back. Confused and a little scared, he told the captain, and they checked the security footage. What they saw didn't make sense. Ava's body was shifting, slowly becoming more feminine. Her voice, when she spoke later, was softer, warmer. She seemed more human. "What's happening to you?" The doctor asked her. "I smelled him," she said calmly. "Smelled what?" "The sweat," she said. "Trigger." They ran more tests. Her DNA was changing, becoming closer to human. Her hormones were rising, but not in a human pattern. She was entering some kind of biological state, but no one knew what it meant. Captain Rain called Earth Command. "We found something, someone not human," she said, "and I think it's just the beginning." Later that night, Ava sat in her room, eyes closed. Her body gave off a soft glow. She whispered to herself, a language the computers could not understand. Then she smiled, just a little, outside the window. The stars shone bright, but something else moved in the darkness, far behind the ship. A shadow in space, following the signal Ava had sent without knowing. Something was coming, and it was not human. Ava stopped sleeping. She no longer needed rest. Her body had entered a new state, alert, awake, changing. The medbay lights stayed dim to protect her eyes, but her skin was glowing on its own now. Soft light ran along the lines of her body like a living map. Each time she breathed, a wave of heat spread around her. The crew had to cool her room using backup systems. Nothing in the ship was made for this. Not for her. Her body is evolving, said Dr. Lena, the ship's chief medical officer. But it's not random, she added. It's like she's following a blueprint. Captain Rain crossed her arms, staring through the one-way glass. What kind of blueprint? Something old, something planned, Lena said. Her cells are rewriting themselves to match human traits, specifically female traits. In her room, Ava stood in front of a mirror. Her silver hair now had a blue shine. Her eyes, once dull, now had light and depth. She touched her lips, then her hips. Studying the new shape of her body, her skin was smoother, warmer. Even her scent had changed. A soft, sweet mix that felt both natural and alien. Josh was called again. But this time, for questioning. "You were the first one she reacted to," the captain said. Josh looked uncomfortable. "I was just running in the gym," he said. "I didn't do anything weird. No one said you did," Captain Rain replied. "But we need to understand what triggered her," she said. "It was the sweat," Josh whispered. "She smelled me." In the background, Ava was watching. The cameras showed her tilting her head as she listened. She wasn't afraid, she was curious. Later, Ava asked for clothes, real human clothes. Not the medical suit she'd been wearing. When they brought her simple gym pants and a t-shirt, she smiled. She wore them like she had seen others do. "Copying the style exactly? You want to be like us?" Josh asked her through the glass. She turned slowly. "I want to understand you. Why?" She stepped close to the glass, eyes locked on his. "Because something inside me says, I need to." The ship's AI named Warden sent an alert. That night, it had scanned Ava's vital signs again. New organs were forming, soft internal systems similar to human reproductive structures, but they were not exact. They were... "Her body is preparing for something," Lena said. "But she's not pregnant, right?" Josh asked nervously. "No, it's not like that," Lena said. "It's like she's adapting to fit into our species. Is she trying to mate?" The question stayed in the room like smoke. No one answered it directly. Later, Josh was asked to wear a biosuit when walking near her area. They didn't want to risk another reaction, but when he passed by, even through the suit, Ava turned to follow him with her eyes. "Why only him?" Rain asked the doctor. "It's possible his body scent matches her target pattern," Lena said. "Some kind of genetic match." The crew grew divided. Some wanted her gone, sent back to space. To Earth, anywhere but the ship. Others believed she was special. A bridge between two worlds. A few were scared. Others were fascinated that night. Something strange happened. Ava touched the wall of her room, and the metal softened. She whispered into it, and the cameras in her room glitched for 10 seconds. When the feed came back, she was standing still. Eyes closed. Warden alerted the crew. There was a surge. The AI said, "She connected to me?" "What did she say?" The captain asked. She said, "I did not mean to send the signal."
"Yes," Warden replied.
An energy pulse was sent out from her body deep into space. Iva was now sitting on the floor of her room, eyes open, staring. At nothing. When they asked her what she did, she only whispered, "They're coming now." "Who's coming?" "My creators," she said. "They never stop watching." Josh asked her later, "Are you scared?" Ava turned to him slowly. "No," she said. "I am waking up." She placed her hand on the glass, palm flat. "You woke me." The ship was no longer just a cargo vessel. It had become the center of something much bigger. They had rescued something, or someone, they didn't understand. And now, something else was heading toward them. Answering the signal, far away, in the darkness between stars, a shape moved, quiet, massive, alive. It was not a rescue, it was a return, and Ava was the reason. The ship Tigress was quiet, too quiet like the air itself was waiting. After Ava whispered the words, "They're coming now," the crew changed. They walked slower, spoke softer, watched the stars with fear. It felt like the calm before a storm. But no one knew what kind of storm it would be. Warden. The ship's AI was working non-stop. Analyzing the signal that Ava had sent, it wasn't a message made of words. It was something deeper, older, made of energy and memory. The signal had left Ava's body like a pulse. It went through the ship, through space, and into the dark, and now, something had answered. The captain stood on the bridge, staring at the main screen. There was a disturbance near Neptune, just a flicker at first, like a reflection, then it grew. An object appeared, long, sharp, black like burned metal. No engines, no windows, no lights, just silent movement. It was heading their way. This ship. "It's not from any database," Enzo whispered. Captain Rain leaned in. "Is it a weapon?" "It's alive," Ava said from behind them. Everyone turned. She had entered the bridge without permission. No one stopped her. Her voice was calm but cold. "That is not a ship," she said. "It is a vessel made from living matter. Grown, not built." The crew stared in shock. "You sent the signal," Rain said. "Did you call them?" "No," Ava replied. "I escaped from them." "Then why are they coming?" "Because I exist." Suddenly alarms went off. Warden spoke. "Systems detecting a quantum fold. Something is opening behind us." On the screen, the black vessel shifted shape. Not like metal, but like muscle. It pulsed once, then stopped. Then something even stranger happened. Ava gasped and dropped to her knees. Her body started glowing again, brighter, hotter. Waves of heat rolled off her skin. "She's reacting," Lena said, running to scan her. But the scanner broke in her hands. Ava looked up at Josh, who had just entered the room. "You have to stay away," she whispered. "I can't control it when you're near." "Control what?" "My form, my desire." Josh froze, confused and concerned. Ava's body was changing again, faster this time. Her eyes shimmered with light. Voice echoed slightly. She was becoming something more than human. Captain Rain gave the order. "Seal off the medbay. Isolate her." "No," Ava said. "It's too late." Outside, the dark ship sent a small object toward Tigris, a spinning, cube-shaped device, smooth and humming. It attached to the hull, then started speaking. Not with sound, but through Warden IAM. "COLLECTOR," the AI stuttered. "Language is forming," Enzo said, typing fast. More words appeared on the screen. "Return subject ORB consumed." The message was clear. They weren't here to talk. They were here to take Ava back. "Tell them no," Josh said without thinking. "They're not asking," Ava replied. "They take what they want, and they leave nothing behind." She looked at the screen, eyes glowing brighter than ever. "I was their experiment," she said. "They gave me senses, instincts, emotion, then feared me for having them. They created you to mimic us." Rain asked. "No," Ava said. "They created me to replace you." The room went silent. Even the engines seemed to hold their breath. "But I chose not to be like them," Ava continued. "I chose to feel." Josh took a step forward. "You chose us? I chose?" "You," she said softly, eyes locked with his behind the ship. The black vessel opened like a flower, sharp, wet, alive. Live. Tentacle-like limbs began reaching toward the Tigris. Time was running out. "What do we do?" Ain asked. Ava stood. Slowly, her body glowing so bright it cast shadows. She reached her hand toward the main power grid. "I will stop them," she said, "but I must finish my bond." "What bond?" Josh already knew. He stepped forward, breath unsteady. Ava placed a glowing hand on his chest. Energy passed between them, not pain. Not shock, but understanding, she whispered. "Now I am not alone," the black ship screamed, not in sound. But in space itself, the fight was about to begin, and Ava was ready. Asterisk, the stars outside the Tigris flickered, not because of distance or light, but because something in space had changed. Inside the ship, everything felt wrong. The walls hummed, the lights dimmed and brightened at random. The ship's AI warden stuttered during simple tasks. Something was interfering, not from outside, but from within. Ava was in the central chamber now, surrounded by the crew. She stood calmly as her skin pulsed with energy. Josh stood closest, but even he didn't know what she had become. "You need answers," Ava said. Her voice was clear, sharp, not cold, just not human. "And now, I will give them." A projection blinked to life above her hand. Not a hologram, but a memory pulled from her body like light. They saw a place deep in space. A dark lab floating near a black sun. Alien machines moved in silence, growing things inside glass walls. Not babies, not clones. Copies of humans. Hundreds of them. Some failed. Others screamed, but one survived. "Ava, I was built, not born," she said. "My creators studied human biology for years. They learned your sense, your hormones, your touch. They wanted to use it against you," Captain Rain stepped forward. "Use it how?" "To make you obey," Ava said. to control your desires, your loyalty, your love. They believed if they could build the perfect human partner, they could conquer Earth without war. Josh's face darkened. You were meant to be. A weapon, yes, Ava said, a soft one. The crew stood in stunned silence. Her body, her voice, her glow, it was all part of the plan, a design to attract, to bond, to influence. But you didn't follow the plan? Rain asked. No, Ava said, because when I smelled human sweat for the first time, I felt something I was not designed to feel, desire. No, Ava replied. Choice. She stepped forward, her feet light, almost floating. I felt the freedom to choose, she said, and I chose not to obey. The memory faded, the projection ended. But something else started. The ship began to shake, not from outside, but from her. Warden gave a warning. Known energy forming in subject Ava's body. Containment suggested. She's not dangerous, Josh said quickly, but even he wasn't sure. Ava raised her hands slowly. I don't want to hurt anyone, she said, but they are close now. Outside, the black vessel had grown. New limbs unfolded, scanning the Tigress, looking for her. They will come aboard, Ava said. They don't speak, they consume. Captain Rain made a decision. Arm the security teams. Lockdown protocol. We don't have weapons strong enough, Enzo warned. Then we stall, Rain said. While she tells us how to survive, Ava sat down on the floor. Cross-legged, she closed her eyes, her breath steady. Around her, lights bent slightly. Like gravity was changing, she was sinking with the ship. I can connect with them, she said. Not to talk, but to feel. They have no love. No fear, only hunger. But I have something they lost. Josh leaned in. What is it? Ava opened her eyes, glowing gold now, not silver. Compassion, she said. And that makes me dangerous to them. Just then, a loud clang echoed through the ship. The black vessel had sent a boarding spike, a long tube of living metal. Slammed into Tigress's hull, it began to open. We're out of time, Rain shouted. But Ava stood calm, her glow now spreading to the floor beneath her feet. I will stop them, she said. But if I do this, I may not stay what I am. What do you mean? Josh asked. If I use my full power, I may lose my form, my self. Might become what they are. The choice hung in the air. Ava looked at Josh, then at the crew. Her voice trembled for the first time. Will you remember me if I change? Josh stepped forward, placed a hand on the glass between them. I already do, he said. Ava smiled just a little, then she turned, facing the breach. Her body lifted off the floor, slowly rising. She whispered one last thing before leaving. The chamber I was made to mimic love, but now I carry it. The black corridor at the edge of the ship opened, and Ava walked into the dark, ready to face her makers, alone, but no longer empty. The Tigress was no longer just a ship. It was now the hunting ground, and Ava was the prey. The black vessel had attached itself to the hull like a parasite, its limbs locked in place. Digging into the metal inside, something was moving. Not machines, not drones, but living things. The crew watched the screens in silence. Slender creatures stepped into the connecting tunnel. Tall, dark, skin like wet glass. No eyes, no mouths. Only slits across their heads, pulsing with light. Warden whispered into the captain's ear. Foreign entities detected. Bioforms match Ava's DNA to 94%. They are her kin, but these were not like her. These were pure, untouched by emotion, untouched by choice. They're not here to talk, Enzo said, loading his weapon. They're here too. Ava stood alone in the lower bay. She had stopped glowing. Her body was quiet now. Like the calm center of a storm, she stared at the approaching corridor. Her face was still, but her hands were shaking. Josh found her before the breach door opened. You don't have to face them alone, he said. I do, she replied. They will not speak to you. They will erase you. Then why are you standing here without fighting? She looked at him with soft eyes. Because I don't want to kill what I used to be. Behind them, alarms rang. The corridor pressure dropped. The creatures had entered the ship. Captain Rain gave the order. Seal all decks. Divide in two. Squads protect the AI core and medical bay. Then she looked at Ava. Can you stop them without destroying the ship? Ava hesitated. I can stop them, she said, but not all of them at once. They will come for me first, but if they fail, they'll come for all of you. Suddenly, the lights flickered. One of the intruders had found the power conduit. It reached inside with its long fingers and the lights turned red. The ship's gravity began to twist one end lighter, one heavier. They're changing the ship's core pressure, Enzo said, holding onto a rail. They're not here to recover her, Lena whispered, watching the screen. They're here to strip her down, to rebuild her from scratch. Josh looked at Ava. If they touch you, what happens? I disappear, she said, piece by piece. The choice was clear. Run or fight. Ava turned, her skin glowing again, but dimmer, more controlled. She walked toward the open corridor, this time not afraid, this time angry. In the hallway, the first intruder approached. It tilted its head like a curious child. Then it reached for her with long, boneless arms. Ava whispered one word. Stop. The air around her exploded in color. A pulse of light shot forward. Hitting the creature in the chest, it shook, cracked, and turned to dust, but more were coming. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Josh ran to the armory with two others. We can't let her face them all. Not while she's still one of us. He grabbed a plasma cutter and a portable field shield if they get past her. They'll tear through us like paper. Meanwhile, Ava moved down the corridor like a shadow. Her hair floated behind her, glowing with power. Each step she took shook the floor slightly. She was holding her form together with willpower. Her body wanted to transform, to burn bright and disappear. But her heart, if it could be called that, kept her anchored. She reached the junction. Where three passageways met, she raised both hands and released another wave of light. Three more intruders dropped, but behind them, something larger was crawling forward. A shape like a queen, tall and wide, its body covered in moving scars. Its arms were fused with tubes and blades. It was not here to take her, it was here to replace her. Ava's eyes widened. They built another. She whispered, Captain Rain. Called from the command deck, Ava, if you need to bond again. Now is the time. But Ava shook her head. It won't work now, she said. That path is closed. Josh appeared beside her. He didn't ask for permission. He just stood there. It's unarmed, unshaken. If you fall, we fall too, he said. Ava looked at him, her glow flickering. Then don't fall, she whispered. The queen creature hissed. Not with sound, but with a wave of energy that shook the hallway. The final battle had begun, one between what was created and what had chosen to become more. Ava clenched her fists. She wasn't just fighting for herself now. She was fighting for what she had become, and for the one human who saw her as more than a weapon. Asterisk, the ship, Tigress trembled, not from impact, but from pressure. Pressure between what was and what was becoming. The intruders kept coming, crawling through the vents, stepping out of shadows. Their bodies shimmered like oil. Their minds were quiet, too quiet. Ava stood in the center of the damaged corridor, her glow now dimmer but deeper. It pulsed from within, like a heartbeat. The queen creature stared at her with a frozen face. No mouth, no eyes. Just a surface that reflected pain. She moved slowly, and the other creatures moved with her, as if they were all part of one thing. One mind, one will, one hunger. Josh stood beside Ava, holding a cracked shield. He had no weapons now, just his voice, just his presence. Ava looked at him, her voice soft. I was built to bond through scent, shape, desire. But now, I bond through trust. She reached toward him, her hand trembling. Josh didn't pull away. He closed the distance. Their fingers touched. In that instant, something shifted. The hallway around them froze. Time itself seemed to stop, color drained. From the lights, only the glow of Ava's body remained. Josh's eyes turned bright, not glowing but open. He could see her now, not just her shape, but her history, her fear, her design. He saw her birth in a dark lab. saw her body molded cell by cell, saw the tests, the failures, the escape. He felt her loneliness like cold water on skin. Ava saw him too. She felt his memories, laughter on Earth, greasy hands fixing engines, quiet nights reading alone. She saw his moments of doubt, his hidden strength, his pain. The bond between them was not of blood, it was not desire, it was recognition. They saw each other truly. In that moment, Ava's body shifted. Not into a weapon, not into a copy, but into something new. Skin turned smooth, like polished stone. Hair became strands of energy. Her eyes held galaxies. The queen creature stepped forward, sensing the change. It hissed, but not in fear, in rage. She was no longer a broken experiment. She was herself. Ava raised her hand and whispered, "Leave this ship," the queen screamed, a silent burst that shook the ships. Walls, the other creatures dropped to the floor. Twitching, Ava's glow pushed outward. A shockwave that bent the corridor around her, but Josh stood untouched. Their bond protected him, Warden reported. Energy output rising beyond reactor levels. Recommend evacuation. Captain Rain watched from the bridge, eyes wide. "She's not just defending us," she said. "She's rewriting the battlefield." But the queen wasn't finished. It charged, blades forming from its arms. It moved like liquid, fast and full of fury. Josh stepped forward, but Ava held him back. "This part is mine," she said gently. She floated upward, light trailing. Behind her, her voice echoed through the ship, not just in sound, but in feeling. "I choose to exist. I choose to protect. I choose to feel." The queen struck. Ava caught the blade with her bare hand, and the metal melted. She released. A final pulse, not to kill, but to purify. Light filled the hallway, soft and warm. When it faded, the queen was gone. So were the others. Silence returned, real silence. Ava dropped to the floor, weak but whole. Josh ran to her side. "You're still here," he said. "I stayed because of you," she whispered. "I didn't lose myself." He held her gently. Her form was softer now, more human than before, and yet, "Not entirely. You're something else now," he said. "Not them, not us, but real." Ava smiled. "Then maybe that's enough." But deep in space, where the signal had once traveled, a dozen black vessels stirred. Not one queen, but a hive. The war had not ended, only evolved. The Tigris drifted in orbit near Neptune, silent, scarred, but still alive inside. The crew moved carefully. The walls were marked with burns, dents, and melted steel, but the true changes were deeper. In the ship's core, Ava lay inside a sealed chamber. Her body shimmered faintly. Silver, gold, and flickers of violet. She was healing. But not in the human way. She was rebuilding. Josh stayed by her side. He hadn't slept. Not since the queen vanished. She had won the battle, but the price wasn't clear yet. "Her vitals are stable," Lena said, "but her DNA is changing again." Captain Rain stood at the door, arms folded. "Into what?" "I don't know," Lena replied. "Maybe something Earth has never seen, outside the ship." The stars flickered, not natural flickers, not distance or heat, but movement. Warden broke the silence. Multiple foreign signals approaching. 13. Josh stood, heart pounding. He ran to the bridge on the main screen. Shapes emerged from the shadows of space. Not one ship, not two, an entire swarm, black vessels. Silent and smooth, surrounded Tigris. They weren't attacking. They were waiting. Then Ava woke. She rose slowly from the chamber, her body now completely different, light woven into form. She no longer walked, she floated. Josh met her in the hallway. "You're awake," he said softly. She looked at him, eyes glowing with warmth and sorrow. "I thought I could stop them," she whispered. "You did. I stopped the queen," she replied. "But the hive, it remembers." The lights flickered again. The ship trembled. The swarm was reaching out. "Not with weapons, but with code. They're speaking," Ava said. "No words, just instinct." "What do they want?" Captain Rain asked through. Comes Ava turned to the window. "They want to reclaim their design. They see me as a stolen thought. They see me as..." Error. Josh stepped closer. Then proved them wrong. Ava touched the glass. Reflection flickered, half human, half something more. I can't defeat them with light, she said. But I can show them something they cannot erase. She walked, drifted, toward the docking bay. The crew watched, no one stopping her. This was her war now. She opened the bay doors. No helmet, no shield, just choice. She floated into space. The swarm pulsed. Sensing her presence, energy, gathered at their edges, they prepared to absorb her. But Ava did not resist, she offered. She opened her memory, the bond with Josh. The pain, the laughter, the choice to feel. She let them see what she had seen. Not fear, but freedom. The swarm paused. The light inside each vessel flickered. Some turned dim, others shut off completely. She was not fighting. She was rewriting. Inside the ship, Warden gasped. Signal. Changing, swarm data stream is reversing. Ava's glow expanded like a star. Not violent, but warm. Josh watched, tears in his eyes. She was not destroying them. She was infecting them with empathy. The swarm began to drift apart. One by one, the ships peeled off. Their lights now pulsing slowly. Not like machines, but like hearts. And then Ava was gone. No body, no signal, just silence. Josh ran to the observation deck. He stared into the stars. She's not gone, he whispered. She's everywhere. Lena approached quietly. We can't trace her, she said. But something new just appeared in Earth's deep data field. What is it? A code, she said. Organic and digital. Living signal. Josh smiled slowly. She didn't disappear, he said. She evolved. 1 week later, the Tigris returned to Earth orbit. Its story was classified, its crew silent, but one night, as Josh sat on the ship's old deck, a small shimmer passed across the window. A whisper, soft, electric, warm. I remember you. Josh smiled. I remember you too.